This week on an all-new edition of The Crusaders.
You were boating drunk, and it's against the law.
This is the last wheel you'll want to get behind when you've had too many.
Hi, guess who?
Our crusade to protect you from boaters on a binge.
The Crusaders will be back in just a moment.
Later, summer is here, but danger may be just around the corner.
How many deaths do we need before we say we have a problem?
But next, if you think drunk drivers are only a menace on the highways, you could be dead wrong. When the Crusaders return. The Crusaders, journalists getting involved.
A drunk driver climbs behind the wheel, speeds recklessly, and kills an innocent victim. It's a tragic story we've heard all too often. But it's not limited to our highways. It's also happening on our waterways. Reporter William Lajeunesse crusades to stop summer boaters on a binge.
America's lakes and rivers provide a playground for summertime pleasure seekers. But amidst the fun and partying, there's a growing danger. Boaters under the influence of alcohol are turning our waterways into a deadly playground, especially here in Arizona, where there are more boats per person than any other state.
Hi, guess who?
Deputy Bill Hansen works for the Maricopa County Sheriff's Department. He's an expert in detecting people under the influence. Not everyone he stops is over the limit.
Probably 80% of the boats that are leaving a dock leave with alcohol. And when you check them when they come back, very few of them come back with alcohol.
Nationally, more than 6,000 boating accidents last year resulted in 800 deaths, 3,500 injuries, and $20 million in property damage. Believe it or not, it's illegal to boat under the influence, same as driving a car. But unlike driving, you don't need a license to operate a boat. But that doesn't stop many boaters.
There are folks out here that started drinking when the sun came up this morning.
We wanted to help, so we crusaded for two things: better awareness and the kind of testing that will allow police to make the law stick.
Good. Why don't you step a little bit closer to me so I can see your eyes? Take your glasses off for me.
This woman had nothing to worry about, but too many others do.
Then the question is that person's performance due to alcohol, or is it due to the fact that he's on the water or he's fatigued? And when you get to that point, you know, separating the OUIs, the people who are under the influence of alcohol, from the other people becomes extremely difficult. It's much more difficult than it is on the land.
Dr. Marcy Burns of the Southern California Research Institute developed field sobriety tests for drunk drivers on our nation's highways. Well, we brought her to Saguaro Lake outside Phoenix to help put this program into practice on the water. And can you do that?
Actually, I think it's not only reasonable and feasible, but wouldn't be terribly difficult.
William, I'm going to ask you to do a few simple things.
We set out to prove that drinking and boating don't mix, so I volunteered to be a test subject. The first step was to measure my abilities before drinking any alcohol.
Following instructions is one of the keys. The next thing I'd like you to do is to count out loud for me backwards, so I can hear you, from 37 to 18, please.
37, 36, 35, 34, 33, 32, 31, 30, 20.
Dr. Burns determined the amount I needed to drink to bring my blood alcohol above Arizona's legal limit, 0.10. Typically, that's 4 to 5 drinks for an average man.
Yeah, that's good.
We went outside where Deputy Hansen gave me several field sobriety tests.
I feel under the influence, but I don't feel that I couldn't pilot a boat without any problem.
Next thing I'd like you to do for me, William, is to count backwards for me out loud so I can hear you, from 38 to 17.
38, 37, 36, 35, 34, 33, 32, 31, 30, 29, 28, 27, 26.
Dr. Burns made her point.
But I certainly would not go on a boat with William in his present state. I don't think it's safe. I wouldn't do it.
After the tests, we went back inside to determine the actual amount of alcohol in my blood. Of according to state law, I was drunk.
What we really need is a test battery that's demonstrated to be valid and reliable on the water that will hold up when these cases find their way into the court system. And you know, the really sad thing about boating and alcohol is that it happens when people are having fun. And too often it ends in tragedy, real human tragedy.
So we launched an awareness campaign to reduce the number of tragedies. We designed a poster, then convinced the K.C. Johnson Foundation to pay for the printing of 2,000. Cliff Nugent runs the foundation.
Do you think this is going to make a difference?
Hopefully it will. If it saves one life, it's worthwhile.
Would you mind if we put one of these up in your window?
That's fine.
We put up posters around Phoenix where people buy beer and where they buy boats.
Would you mind if we put one of these up in your window? No. That's okay. I'll take it. Yeah, around the side there.
Afternoon, folks. How y'all doing?
But the real problem is on the water, where we continued our effort to reduce the number of drunk boaters.
Have you been drinking today, sir? None whatsoever?
Yeah, he drank 4 beers.
See the end of my finger again? Hold your head still.
1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Thank you.
This guy was over the limit.
You had a beer or two? That's about it. You're under arrest for OUI. Why? I'm not OUI or whatever. I couldn't be, please. Okay, just relax. Keep the tone going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Don't stop. Reach deep. Reach deep. You can do it all the way until your lungs are completely empty.
By law, the field test must be confirmed by a calibrated breathalyzer.
Okay, you can stop. Thank you. Just relax.
You said you had 2 beers. That machine and I say that you're a liar, that you had more than that. You can maintain that, but no one's going to believe it. Not your lawyer, not a judge, and surely not these guys, and not that audience. Think before you drink. Don't go drunk. It hurts people.
Of course, no one is guilty until convicted in a court of law, but at least this boater was in dry dock for the afternoon as we continued patrolling for safer waters.
So how do you get boaters to take drinking seriously? Well, do what California did. Treat a BUI, boating under the influence, like a DUI, driving under the influence. A drunk boating conviction in California goes on your driving record, your insurance rates go up, and you could lose your driver's license.
Good work. Thank you, William. The Crusaders will return in just a moment.